Well, we're smack in the middle of the holiday season, and that means there's going to be a lot of families gathering together. At least that's the hope for this year. So when your families are gathering together, some of your relatives might have anything from mild cognitive impairment all the way to full-on dementia. And we want the holidays to be good for everyone, a good, memorable experience. So for some of us, we're not really sure how to make that happen with relatives that might have some memory issues. So stay tuned, because my guest today is going to give us some very good and effective ways of communicating with folks who might have some dementia or mild cognitive impairment. Stay tuned. Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Scan FYI. And so we're right in the holiday season, and so this is perfect timing. And my guest today is Michelle Gidosh. Did I say that right?
Yes, you
Excellent.
did.
And Michelle is a dementia care specialist, which is someone that we've never had an opportunity to talk with on Scan FYI. So Michelle, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having us. Certainly, Harmony Village at CareOne Jackson loves working with SCAN. We've done several programs with you, several, just for the seniors. So it's been fun. It's been a great working relationship, and thank you for having us today.
Oh, Michelle, it's our pleasure. Well, do us the favor of explaining to the folks out there, what exactly do we mean when we say you are a dementia care specialist? Give us a little rundown on what that means.
Okay, well, a dementia care specialist.
Technology is calling me, so let me. Sorry, you see?
It's okay.
Okay, no worries. Go ahead.
A dementia care specialist is someone who is a licensed healthcare professional that has extensive training or experience in the field of dementia, or cognitive impairment. So basically, it's a nurse, a social worker, a therapist, maybe an occupational therapist that are certified in different modalities or philosophies of dementia care. So I happen to be certified through Crisis Prevention Institute, which is CPI, and also I trained under TCHPCSW. So I'm excited about that. She's, renowned dementia trainer throughout the country. So that's basically what the training and experience is required to call yourself a dementia care specialist or a certified dementia care specialist. So my role pretty much at Harmony Village is working closely with the staff, families, and the residents in particular. So I work very closely with our Director of Wellness, Sherry Taylor, and we do the initial assessment before someone actually comes to our community. We have 3 distinct neighborhoods, so it's our job to figure out where they would best, where their needs would be best met. So we have Harmony 1, which is our early stage dementia, Harmony 2, which is our middle stage dementia, and Harmony 3, where it's late end stage. So during our initial assessment, we make a guess because things change when they arrive. It's always the way, right? But we try to make our best educated guess on where we should place them. At that point, we do another assessment. She'll do the physical, I'll do the cognitive and the psychological and the behavioral. And at that point, we'll decide what's the best fit.
So here we are at the holiday season when families are gathering, and most of us don't have your expertise. So in comes a relative that we know might be might have dementia, might have some mild impairment. And, as I said before, everyone wants to enjoy family time together, but it's not always easy because it's not always a pleasant experience for maybe the host of the gathering, and probably not for the person even who might have dementia, because it's a difficult situation all around. So what might be some I don't even know what might be some ways that we can have a better holiday. How do we ensure that our loved one is really part of the action, but not too much action?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
First, I think we really have to understand how dementia works and how our abilities become affected as far as effective language, as far as function level. So dementia really is an umbrella term. So under that umbrella falls the many different types of dementia. There are hundreds. So we kind of look at the umbrella as the Baskin Robbins and underneath all the different flavors.
Interesting analogy.
Isn't that? There's more than 32 flavors, though. There's about 100. There are hundreds of different types of dementia. Some are very rare, specific to certain disease types. But the four basic ones are Alzheimer's, of course, is the most common. Vascular dementia, usually caused by a stroke or some kind of vascular illness. Lewy bodies, which is most likely connected to like Parkinsonian dementias. And so Lewy bodies, oh, I'm missing one.
You'll come back to it.
We'll get back to it. We'll get back to it.
No
So
worries.
Four
no worries.
basic dementias that we really have to look at. And each one of them has their own characteristics, their own causes. So we have to take that into consideration. So with that, we have to remember that at least two parts of their brain are dying at one time, that it is a progressive disease, it's ever changing, and that we really need to understand that there are changes in the brain and it is terminal. So people don't realize that as the brain starts to die, that means the body starts to shut down, unfortunately. So those abilities are affected right down to their ability to walk, to talk, to eat, their sleeping patterns, everything has changed. So as we progress in the illness, it's important to understand those changes. So we have vision changes, we have word finding issues. So those abilities certainly would be attention and focus. So, we really have to take extra time, slow down, don't talk to them so quickly. There's many different pointers and I'll talk about them, but I do want you to know about the, as far as the short-term memory, the long-term memory that is affected, and long-term memory is their strength. Short-term memory is taboo. That's where you're going to get reactions. That's where they're going to get defensive. That's where they're not going to be able to answer you. And depending on what stage they're in, they may confabulate. So if you say to them, what did you have for breakfast? Because they're still able to do that chit chat back and forth, they may say, I had Cheerios, and really they had eggs. So they feel like they have to give you an answer, but they're going to confabulate to fill in the gaps because they know they really can't answer.
So Michelle, let me say this. What I'm really getting here is that we are the ones who have to make the adjustments, because if you're expecting, your grandmother or your aunt or your mom or whomever it is that has the issue to adjust to you, that's not happening. So hearing what you're saying, we have to make the adjustments. So why are we discussing what you had for breakfast, knowing that we're not going to get a good answer?
Let's talk. That's not their strength. Absolutely.
Right.
So it is our job to adapt. They can't change. Their changes are, so it is our job to adapt to them and their abilities. And that's kind of what I'm getting to, their functional abilities. So as they progress in the disease, language becomes an issue. They cannot find the words. Their language is on their left side. That whole word bank is gone. So they search for words to fill in the gap. Some people call it word salad, where they're just throwing out words and maybe one or two you can get what they're trying to tell you. So we really need to keep that in mind. So it would be word finding, processing of information. So if you're giving them too much at one time, it could be very overwhelming.
Sure.
They do miss 1 out of every 4 words in a conversation. So think about the misunderstandings.
So
And
25% of the conversation is just
it's
gone. Wow.
So those important words may be missed, and all they hear is, Aunt Sally, and then Aunt Sally thinks you're talking about her, and really you're just trying to include her. So we need to keep it simple, simple words, not, demanding like get up or, go to the bathroom or come with me, let's go. Those kinds of things. We need to add visual and verbal, cues, in order to make them feel. You do want to include them, but keep it simple, keep it light. Remember about the distractions. I mean, their attention and focus is very much dependent on that. If there's a lot going on, the TV's on, there's music on the other side of the house, everyone's sitting at the tables yelling and screaming, the kids or whatever. It's not going to be a great environment for someone who already has deficits. It's going to be very overstimulating, and you will probably see outbursts or total shutdown.
Well, let me ask you something. So just now listening to this, so if you are one of the fortunate enough to have a tremendous family and you're going to have a huge holiday gathering, kids, adults, music, the whole shebang, is it even appropriate to have to include a relative who has a problem at a gathering that loud and that crazy?
Well, actually, because of what we've been experiencing the last couple of years with keeping it simple, with this whole pandemic, most people aren't having the bigger gatherings. But this year, I think with the vaccinations and
possibly we will.
People will be getting back to that. So my recommendation always is, look, it's the holiday season. It's spread over time. You don't have to do it the day of. You can make several short visits to them in their own environment where they feel safe, where they feel, that they're protected, and in familiar where they're not feeling any kind of change. There's going to be an adjustment period. So even if you take them back to your home that they've been 100 times, it's still going to be a change, and you're still going to may see. So I say keep people in familiar, and routine is so important. Even if you just go there and bring cookies, bring a holiday sweater so they can wear it to all the other community activities that are happening within their new environment. Bring their favorite ornament, bring some pictures from past holidays to reminisce, to talk, maybe decorate their room with some safe decorations. Those types of things you can spend and have a very meaningful holiday celebration with someone.
But you know what, Michelle, what you're describing is the adaptation of us to them, which, as it should be, not bringing someone who is compromised into a totally difficult environment because it's easier for us on the day of.
It's easier, and it feels better that we included, but you have to realize it may not be best for the person that's living with dementia.
Right. All right. Well, that's an interesting takeaway. I just had that light bulb go off for myself. So it's not about us. Don't make it about us.
About us. Absolutely.
And I think that a lot of people, we don't mean it to be a selfish act. We mean it to be very inclusive. But now as we're hashing this out together, I'm realizing, we are being a little selfish, and we should keep it simple and do things on their level, because that will be a meaningful experience for them. Yeah.
That's right. And especially with the processing issues and the focus issues and the attention and the
too much, right?
Noise, the environment. Absolutely. And you have to think about safety too, with decorations. Are they going to trip over, why? There's just so much to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. In your own place, in your own environment, you always feel the best. Even all of us under good circumstances. So I'm just imagining how difficult it would be to be taken out of my familiar and safe environment and be, basically thrust into a home filled with activity when I can't process it well.
Right. And not recognizing maybe some of the people that are there.
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah.
it's just really crazy on all levels. And not being able to process what's happening. Let's imagine, you're not hearing right. Your vision's not good. Your brain isn't function or processing of information, losing those 1 out of every 4 words.
Yeah,
Taking a
25%.
longer, exactly.
Yeah.
Taking a longer time to process information. So it's our job to kind of learn to adapt to their needs instead of our own, for sure.
Right. I think that's a very important takeaway. We have to adapt. They don't have to adapt.
That's right.
And I think it's also, you're also describing realistic expectations. And it would be unrealistic to think that your relative will adapt. We adapt. That's our job.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, that's an important takeaway because we do want to have a good holiday experience for everyone. And I think if you take Michelle's excellent advice, it will ensure a much happier holiday all around, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for being with us today, and really excellent advice. And I hope our listeners will take it to heart. And I will put all of Michelle's contact information in the comment section. And so if you wanted to know more about what she's doing at CareOne, maybe you have a relative who might be in need of their services, you will be able to reach out to Michelle. Okay.
Thank you so much, Andrea. It's always a pleasure.
My pleasure as well. So remember, if it's important to you, it's important to us. I'm Andrea Tarr. We'll see you next time on Scan FYI. Bye, everyone. Bye, Michelle.
Bye. Bye-bye.